Hey YouTube, Dr. Derek King here with yourbrainchild.org, educating parents for student success. Today's topic is the most important thing that you can do to have your child be successful in school. Whether they're a low performing student, we're going to take them from low performing to improved performance. If they're a middle performing student, we're going to take them from middle performing to high performing. And if they're high performing already, we're going to take them to the top echelons. Let's get started. All right, guys, if you're new to this channel is going to be useful to parents with kids from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, in all honesty. You're going to find the information extremely useful. What it really is a window into the discussions that I constantly have with both students and parents on a daily basis, and how we've taken students from all F's to multiple scholarships by the time that they actually graduated, how we manage them to have a more balanced and a more suitable focus if they're in athletics, to also be focused on their academics. But it's really about what you can do. This channel is primarily about making you a more effective parent. So if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe, and that way you won't miss anything. Well, today's topic is the most important thing that you must know in order for your child to be successful in school. It'll also provide you some insight as to why the certain things are actually happening with your child that are currently happening. It's going to make you say, oh, that's why. But more importantly, you'll have a plan of action near the end of this video in terms of what do I do now. Please grab something to write with, whether it's a pencil, piece of paper, your iPad, something that you could take notes with. And after you watch this video, please share it with a friend if you found it useful. Please like this video if you found it useful. And also, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comment section down below. Today's topic is about your child's academic mindset. It's really about how they actually think and their approach to learning. And so I'm going to present a couple scenarios to you. And what I want you to do is really think about your child or your children as we present these scenarios. Now, understand that these are a range, and you might find your child has some of the attributes of the child in scenario A, or some of the attributes in scenario B, because what I'm going to discuss after I present these scenarios is that depending on the situation, we all kind of fall in one place or another on these actual spectrums. So let's get started. The first area that is key to understand is belief. Does your child believe that they're born smart or not smart? Or do they believe that knowledge is the byproduct of hard work? In order for us to help your child, we must have a clear understanding as to what do they believe in this area. And the next key understanding is focus. Is your child focused on simply getting the work done, or are they focused on the new knowledge that they learned from doing the homework, from doing the assignments? This is absolutely key. So what we're trying to determine is, does my child believe that my academic ability is fixed or has a fixed academic mindset? Which means that basically they believe that all the knowledge and the skills that I have, I was born with for the most part. So I was either born smart or I wasn't in a particular subject, and that's why I either do well or I don't. Or does your child have a growth academic mindset, meaning that they believe that their academic ability is tied to their effort in doing their work, and that their work is making them smarter, and that competing is making them smarter, and that they can constantly grow and expand how smart they actually are by doing the work? Here's how the two different approaches play out within the classroom. A student with a fixed academic mindset relating to effort, they're very likely to shy away from things that they don't believe that they're going to be strong at, because they don't want to reinforce what they already believe, and that is, I'm not smart at that. As it relates to mistakes, or challenges and obstacles, they view those challenges and obstacles and they shy away from them because they don't believe that I'm going to be good at that, so they'll just avoid it. So they're not interested in new knowledge or new learning because they don't believe that they're smart in that area. As it relates to mistakes, they're going to shy away from the things that they don't believe they're going to be good at. They don't want to highlight their mistakes in their mind because they kind of view it as a reinforcement of I'm not smart. That's the reason why they're not really encouraged to show you their homework or encouraged to show you the pieces that they actually did well on. Instead, they'll just shy away from it or really not even look at the work in and of itself. And lastly, with feedback, as it relates to feedback, they view it as an attack, whether it's coming from you as the parent or the teacher or the principal. They feel like you're just reinforcing what they don't already know. And as you could probably tell, we have to do our best to get them away from this type of mindset, because what we understand as adults is that learning is a process of successes and failures. Now, some kids have the other side, what we call a growth academic mindset. As it relates to effort, they work hard to expand their ability. They're very, very hard workers academically. They view every challenge or obstacle with a competitive spirit. They actually enjoy them as part of learning. They see it as making them smarter. As it relates to mistakes, they understand it is just simply part of the learning process. And so they figure a mistake is something that I didn't initially understand, but now I do. So I'll make that correction and move on. And lastly, with feedback, they see it for what it is. They see it as coaching. They see the marks that the teacher puts on the paper or the conversations that the teachers have with them as part of a person coaching them, making them better. They'll approach the conversations that you're having with them as an attempt to make them better, not to reinforce what they don't do well. So as you can tell, the growth mindset is what we're going to help you get your child to get every child to. Now remember, this is going to be an ongoing process. So just like we're going to ask them to work hard, I'm going to ask you to work hard. Now, what do you think? After watching that, what did you notice about your child? Does your child have a fixed academic mindset, or do they have a growth academic mindset? Well, obviously where we're trying to get is to have our children have a growth mindset. We're trying to have them understand that I can always get better. And in our plan of action, we're going to discuss things that we can do to actually help that as parents. Now, one of the things that I want to discuss is that sometimes accidentally as parents, because we're not perfect, our children aren't perfect and we're not perfect. So some of the things that we do accidentally encourage a fixed mindset. For example, and you'll hear me discuss more of this in our soundbite section of the plan of action. But for example, do you say, well, our family, we're not good at, whatever it is, math, or we've never been good at school in our family or whatnot. Think about what that's doing to your child. They're absorbing that information. They're absorbing that, well, maybe I'm not good at it. Maybe because I wasn't born smart, then I'm not good at it. But what we want to encourage them and what we want them to clearly understand is that they can constantly grow, that they can constantly improve. What you'll find that the most successful people, they seem to always find success because they don't stop until they get it. The kids at our school, our engineering students, what they actually have on the back of their shirts is hard work beats talent when talent won't work hard. And I live that way, and I encourage them to live that way. And I encourage my own kids to live that way, is don't let anyone outwork you. Your knowledge base in whatever the subject is or whatever the task is may be at whatever level, but you can constantly improve that if you take the approach that I can get better, if you do have that growth mindset. And if you understand that, the feedback that people are giving me, that's going to be useful to me. It's going to help me get stronger. It's like lifting weights. When you first get in there and lift weights, you might only lift a certain amount of poundage. But in order to get stronger, you've got to do things that are harder. And you will get stronger. And you absolutely will get stronger. Well, your mind is a muscle, and it's the same way. And so we want to constantly challenge our kids and challenge those things. We don't want to put them in scenarios by which it's not a focus on winning, it's a focus on growth. And that is the most important thing that I want you to take away. And also take away that this is going to be a long process, that you're not going to start these strategies and your child just get better tomorrow. But one of the things you're going to hear me say constantly is celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. The way we get our children to do better is by celebrating the behaviors that we want to encourage. Okay, we really want to celebrate those, especially with kids who've had low performance for so long, because what you'll find is they haven't been celebrated in so long relative to their academics. So we want to find those small things and highlight those and celebrate those. Now, what we don't want to do is encourage low performance by, quote unquote, throwing a parade, when they just did the bare minimum. Right? But what we want to always encourage is that you complete all of your assignments, even if you do them incorrectly because there's value there for the educator to understand, oh, now the child understood this, but they didn't understand the other piece. And it's also going to be incredibly important as I go through other things in terms of getting your child to complete certain things and getting them to grow and understanding that we're on their team. And you'll see a video on your academic student support team, which is comprised of you, your child, the educators within your school, some of your kids' friends. These things are incredibly important to actually do. Now, as I mentioned, every video you will have a plan of action. We won't just talk, we will act. Well, here is our 5-step plan of action to have your child grow to a growth mindset. Number 1, have your child watch our mindset profile video and take that assessment. I speak the entire assessment. It's only 8 statements. There's no right or wrong. Remember, this is not a test, so your child will get 100% at the end. It is simply to identify where they fall on the spectrum of strength or of a growth or fixed mindset. And then number 2, communicate the launch. Well, let me go back to number 1. Make sure that you have them watch that mindset profile video and do that first before you communicate anything, or else it will skew their results. And then number 2, I want you to communicate the launch to them. Communicate to them that we are now on a new journey, that we are going to be focused on helping you to improve academically. Then number 3, I want you to identify 2 strengths and 1 weakness within your child, just so that way you can fall back on those as things that you can use for your positive sound bites with them. So identifying the 2 strengths, like for example, you're very smart, but then and then number 2, you're hardworking, but number 3, as a area of growth, they could be a procrastinator, which impacts their ability of being smart and being hardworking, because they're doing their work late and they're not putting the energy in it that they need to. And then number 3, eliminate all negative sound bites. Eliminate any sound bite relative to our family isn't good at this, or anything negative. You're just like your mom, or you're just like your dad, or you're lazy, or you're stupid. All those negative things, a child really absorbs them and they start to believe that that is who they are. And then number 5, and the most fun, is to actually celebrate the launch. Take your child out to dinner or your children out to dinner, cook a special dinner for them, buy a cake, do whatever it is, but communicate that we are now on a new journey and that we are going to make mistakes in this journey, that they're going to make mistakes and that you're going to make mistakes. But we are now on this new journey and you are committed to their success and you're going to help them to be successful and you're going to do whatever it takes. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, subscribe this video, share this video with someone you know that it will be useful for. They're also trying to help their child, whether it's your grandchild or your brother or your sister, or even, your spouse or your ex-spouse or your ex-partner, because you'll also hear me, you'll also see a video on co-parenting for academic success, because I promise you that is very, very needed. I spend a lot of time with students because of things they're struggling with relative to parents who are no longer together. And it's something I clearly understand. I've had those same challenges and have been able to find success. And it's not easy. To be honest with you, I have 4 kids and I have 3 good students. Now, I get high performance out of all of them, but I promise you, one of them is a whole nother job. So I understand what you're going through, and I'm telling you, it's going to take your consistency, it's going to take your commitment, and I'm going to help you get there. So if you haven't done so already, please share, comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.